Hey everybody, it's JP321. We're back with another video, but before we get into that video, I just wanted to come by and remind y'all to leave a like, subscribe, share it. It helps my content get out. Other than that, enjoy the video. If y'all do enjoy the video, like I said, share, subscribe, like. Thanks for watching. Alright, so we're just gonna jump straight into it. We're reacting to Kathleen Kennedy's rise and fall. It's Nuxtaku's video. That's why I didn't read the last little part, because it broke him, but I want to see what it is. I usually watch his videos off stream and stuff like that, but I don't know, I kind of felt like watching it on stream, so, but for anybody that's new, I got a mirror right here that's reflecting the TV, so I can watch it from, like, the reflection instead of having to turn. So if it looks like I'm looking away from the TV, how do I know? It's because I'm looking away at a mirror.
The Force is no longer female, ladies and gentlemen. Kathleen Kennedy is gone. All right, she is the one that made the Disney Star Wars crap hole.
Oh yeah, she retired in this year.
It's very exciting to see her go. So the Critical Drinker made a video titled "Crash and Burn: The Kathleen Kennedy Story," where I think is going to go through the entire.
We are watching a reaction of reaction
to the lore channel. I'm very excited to see the Kathleen Kennedy lore, how she put chicks in it and made it all gay. So lock in, boys and girls. Let's see what we got.
Kennedy. If ever there was a name synonymous with the destruction of pop culture franchises, the humiliation of beloved legacy characters, creative mismanagement, missed opportunities, and the unwelcome injection of the message.
I don't know why his
not the message.
VTubers
is one woman. Yeah, other people have arguably committed worse crimes against cinema, but Kennedy did it first.
Nah, dude, she's professional. She got an entire South Park special made about her putting chicks in it and making it gay.
That was wild.
It's unbelievable.
That South Park. I mean, Cartman was her.
She's finally, officially, definitively stepped down as president of Lucasfilm, to the relief of literally dozens of Star Wars fans that are still invested, and beginning her extended walk into the wilderness of retirement. It seems like the right time to make what I hope will be my last ever video on this subject, because if anyone deserves a crash and burn, it's her. Not so much because
I mean, she ruined that franchise.
That's right, baby.
We'll get to that.
No, for me, honestly, the crazy thing is,
she made it all woke.
Showing up.
And then Anakin's supposed to be the chosen one, but in the new what is that show called? I can't remember what it's called. Basically, they made like a group of sisters, witches.
It really is.
Witches that were sisters by being witches, I guess. I don't know. They ended up making like them summon a new chosen one, and I'm just like, you know, the whole point of a chosen one is because it's the only one.
Perhaps the greatest example of
Bro, it's crazy how she even looks like Dark Sidious. That's crazy.
Upwards that Hollywood's ever seen, and believe me, it's seen a
crazy,
lot. So grab your bargain bin Rey Skywalker action figure and let's embark on Crash and Burn, the Kathleen Kennedy story. Kennedy was born in 1953 in Berkeley, California, one of three daughters of Donald Kennedy, a judge, and Dionne Marie, a part-time theater actress. After majoring in telecommunications and film studies at university, she soon found work at a local TV station in San Diego as a camera operator, floor manager, and eventually a production coordinator.
Dog, how the hell did she get in charge of Star Wars? Unless, obviously, they put her there to make it fake and gay, to manipulate the people. I don't know if that's true, okay? Alright.
Clear though that if she wanted to business, she'd have to move to LA.
They said that Han Solo and Chewbacca was supposed to be like,
to John Milius, who at the time was overseeing
each other or something like that.
Comedy movie 1941. Basically, her job was to run errands and make coffee. Three things that she was spectacularly bad at.
I remember Cassie came into the room with her steno pad and her pencil, and she was horrible at taking notes. She was terrible, and she didn't really know how to do it very well. Or
yeah, it didn't seem like it.
Interrupt somebody in mid-sentence.
How'd they put her in charge of Star Wars? Did she sleep her way up there?
Yeah, you either gotta stay in here or stay out there, because that AC's noisy.
Franchise is on the planet. Okay, literally. And here you get some random.
How's everybody going with that weather thing in Texas? I mean, I'm in Texas right now too. All it's been doing is raining since this morning, so I don't know what's gonna happen to it later.
Instead, he got the dog.
Oh my God! That's insane.
Spielberg, for whatever reason, took a liking to her and hired her as his personal assistant for radio.
Yeah, for whatever reason. Oh, I don't know, man. Maybe something was going on under the desk. I mean, behind closed doors.
Well, Stark. Now, she might have been shit at taking notes, but to her credit, she was organised, diligent, and efficient, able to solve problems and mediate disagreements. She soon rose through the ranks to become an associate producer on Poltergeist, and finally a
Fine. I don't know how to make coffee. Put me in charge of Star Wars. Let me market it for women now instead.
blog producer for E.T. in 1982. Not bad for a 29-year-old. The pattern for her career was now set, and she would act as producer for nearly all of Spielberg's movies for the next 30 years. She wasn't what you would call a creative person because she didn't really need to be. Her job was to facilitate other people's creative visions, organize logistics, overcome all the problems and hurdles.
Basically being a supervisor. She didn't have the actual talent, but she just had the supervision to watch over.
And it won her a lot of respect in the industry. She was a project manager, basically, and to be fair, she was good at it. Her work on the Indiana Jones movies also brought her into the orbit of two other men who would turn out to be cornerstones of her career.
So you mean to tell me that she is a strong, independent woman that only succeeded because of strong men in her career that put her in places of power? You mean to tell me that this strong, independent woman actually didn't earn it herself?
George Lucas and Frank Marshall. In the case of the first man, they became close colleagues and friends and stayed that way for decades. Maybe not so much today, though. And in
Give
the
me a
case of
second.
the latter,
Now we can get back to the video.
they were married by 1987, as you can probably imagine, having close personal relationships with three of the most powerful and respected men in the business did wonders for her career, and by the mid-90s...
Wonder how
This
this
is
looks
like
on
Kamala Harris getting nominated for president. It's like, this is...
Oh, it doesn't look like it's bad angle.
It was in the right place at the right time.
Because I feel like I kind of have a lot of light going on. I got the light from outside going on, and then I got the light from the inside going on.
Production company with her husbands, all good stuff.
And I was going to point another light this way too.
Producing and overseeing individual movies,
Well, like
she
FBI.
probably would have had a stellar career and retired as the single most successful female producer ever. As it turned out, though, fate had other plans for Kathleen Kennedy. Remember George Lucas that she befriended back in the 1980s? Well, by 2012, he was getting old and burned out after making the Star Wars prequels and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Disney were offering to buy up Lucasfilm from him, and he was very much tempted by the offer, but what he really needed was a safe pair of hands to leave the company in.
Yeah, that was a bad idea. There wasn't a safe hands that you left it in.
Big choice.
Completely destroyed the
Dude, I'm telling you,
franchise.
this is all part of Lucas's strategy. Alright, he made the prequels. He got so much shit for the Star Wars prequels. Even though, in my opinion, the Star Wars prequels are actually pretty good. Alright?
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, that's what I started off with,
with,
is watching the prequels, and then I went into Clone Wars, the animated show on Cartoon
the Star
Network.
Wars prequels as a mastercraft of writing. That's right. No one.
And then from there, I basically saw all the other movies.
When it came out, everyone hated it. Now, everyone loves the Star Wars prequels.
What is it
because
called?
of all the infinite slop that Star Wars has been
The Bad
producing
Batch and
since
stuff
then.
like that.
Right? Let's be real. When's the last time you heard someone criticize the Star Wars prequels?
Her, and when it came to experience,
Not in a
there
long
was nobody
time.
who could rival her. So in late
Well, I did
2012,
used to hear
the
a
deal
lot
was
about
done. Disney bought over Lucasfilm, and Kathleen Kennedy was installed as president of the company. A move that few people took issue with at the time. That,
Why is that
however,
the video
would
that
soon
you
change. Things started out well, at least. J.J. Abrams, arguably the safest pair of hands in the business at the time, delivered a massive box office hit with The Force Awakens, the first movie in a new Star Wars trilogy. Yeah, it was just a...
Again, in my opinion, you get zero credit for making money off creating the first sequel of a gigantic franchise. Okay? Like, I'm so tired of this, man. I'm so tired of making believe it's like impressive that you made money making. It's like, for example, if someone else would have written Harry Potter Book 7, okay, they would have made a fuck ton of money. Yeah, like, unironically.
Well, because you're piggybacking onto somebody's
because
other
people want to
stuff.
see what happened after Book 6. Like, you're just standing on the shoulders of giants, and you're making believe you're tall.
Like nostalgia trip and a thinly disguised rehash of A New Hope, but who cares? Star Wars was back, baby, and it was bigger than ever. The following year, Rogue One proved that Star Wars could release spin-offs and prequels to the main story that were still financially viable, allowing them to potentially kickstart an entire cinematic universe just like the MCU. Unfortunately, the good times weren't to last.
Yeah,
See,
but
going from producer on specific film
they fumbled
projects
that.
where you have
Yeah,
very clearly
that's
defined
definitely not the
tasks,
view that I would have
objectives, and
got out of it. I mean,
responsibilities to head
yeah, I
an
would have saw
entire
if there's
studio
more
that was
to
centered
the
around
universe,
one
but
man's
it's not like
creative
there was
vision
more
is
to
a
the
pretty
universe.
big leap
It's
that
this
demands a whole
universe.
new set of
Just
skills.
one depth
Skills
of
that
the
Kathleen
universe.
Kennedy absolutely didn't have. What she needed was a strong creative vision for where she wanted to take the franchise and how she was going to get it there. She needed to plan and map out release schedules for multiple films with directors and writers that were actually suited to the projects in hand. She needed to keep people on track, monitor progress, and juggle multiple projects at the same time. She needed to be a leader now, not a facilitator.
Yeah, you needed to actually start making things and not just copy.
And this is where it all started to go wrong.
I mean, look, man. My favorite thing about like this discussion is you can't be like, you're just a bigot. That's why you hate the new Star Wars, because you just hate whatever the lesbian orgies was going on the fucking moon and planet in the Acolyte. No, you misunderstood.
Oh, Acolyte, that's what the show was
You
called.
lost
He
millions
basically
of
just
dollars.
brought up this
You put
topic
one
that I was
respected
bringing up
franchise
earlier, but
that could have produced
he
dog
mentioned the
shit
actual
and
show.
made billions, all right, and you turned it into straight ass. No one is excited for Star Wars anymore. No one. There is not one actual hardcore Star Wars fan excited for the next thing. All right, no one wants Acolyte Season 2.
He had hired up-and-coming director Rian Johnson to write and direct The Last Jedi, the second movie in the sequel trilogy. Unlike JJ though, who was all about nostalgia and fan service, Rian was determined to shake things up and subvert fan expectations, not live up to them. And boy did he ever, throwing out JJ's proposed ideas for the sequel, killing off most of his plot threads, and completely going into business for himself. Now, George Lucas probably would have stepped in at this point and told him he was being a fucking idiot, but the lack of a strong overarching plan for the sequels combined with Kennedy's
Didn't
attitude
he
of
say
just
something
let
like,
them get on with it, ultimately
at a certain
doomed the
point, like,
movie.
I think
TLJ
he
turned out to be
said
the
something
most
about,
divisive
like,
Star Wars
how
film of all time,
they went a
completely
different
splitting the
direction
fan
and
base
that
into warring
he
factions
wished he
and
never,
bringing in barely half of
sold it.
what Force Awakens had made. Worse, it introduced identity and gender politics into Star Wars in a way that had never existed before.
There it is. Dude, Star Wars was always diverse as fuck. You know, like, if you actually think about it, you have Mace Windu, he's like the coolest Jedi ever.
I mean, have you seen the
Right,
creatures
you got
there?
these people, all right, you have female Jedi, all right, you got so much, all right, you have everything, but they need
Literally, Chewbacca is a giant, hairy creature that cannot speak English.
And now it's over.
And then you got the tiny little hairy
He lost
creatures.
everything. Like, the irony, and I think this is just hilarious.
And then you got giant worm creatures. You got a giant slug
Visibly, right? This
that's
isn't
in
just
control
matter
of a
opinion,
whole planet.
fact. It is an actual, direct, substantiated fact that you destroy.
And he's not even the only one. He has family members
This
and
was
stuff like
intentional.
that.
One of Kennedy's goals with Star Wars was to increase female representation on
species
screen,
from other
in the belief that
planets
not
that
only would the
become
franchise
Jedi.
retain the inbuilt male audience, they'd also attract a brand new female audience that had
And like, dude, this
It
is
is
the most
very
like,
diverse.
superficial analysis of all time. It's like, yo, let's just put in rainbow ponies and sparkles, all right, to get women to watch too. I'm sure it won't piss off any men, but we'll just get women to watch too. we'll just add people and their women and their emotional support ponies, and men won't be turned off at all.
put off until now. A modern audience, you might say. The devil, though, is in the detail, and no idea can survive bad execution. Suddenly, people were hyper-aware of overpowered, overbearing girl boss characters like Rey, Holdo, and Rose Tico, and they didn't like them. Kennedy's decision to take part in the Forces
if I was them,
combined with their obvious
I wouldn't have signed up for movie again. I wouldn't have
for most detractors of the sequel trilogy, she became the big bad of Star Wars, an unqualified diversity hire into a job she
what's his name that played Luke? I wouldn't have came back to play Luke. Because nah, bro, I don't want to be part of that.
Fantasies. Solo, the next spin-off movie in the Star Wars cinematic universe, bombed in spectacular fashion, partly driven by the ongoing backlash against TLJ. There would be no more spin-off movies after that.
Alright, so I have a really hot take, a nuclear take.
I definitely wouldn't have came back as Han Solo after what she said.
I don't even actually believe.
I don't know if it was just her, but I know it was part of their little crew.
Alright, I don't even think that the reason why they stopped making money
basically saying Han
people didn't
Solo
like
and
the political
Chewbacca
and therefore they didn't want to watch it. I don't think so. Are you ready to hear my opinion? My opinion is it was slop. they
Han
produce
Solo,
shit
no,
content and no one wanted to watch it. If the content would be good, you would get people that watch it. Even if they don't like the politics, even if they don't like the person's ideology and whatever, even if they complain and bitch about Kathleen Kennedy, they'd still watch it because it's Star Wars. It's a franchise they love, and they will actually watch it.
I mean, I still watched all the ones with Ray.
Because of any boycott or any
Ray
crisis.
Skywalker, which I've heard that she's great Palpatine, not Skywalker, but either way, I watched that one. I mean, I watched all those.
The Star Wars
They weren't that bad.
stalled.
Kylo Ren was alright.
Back to safer territory for the final movie. J.J. Abrams was poked back.
It's so
It was
fascinating.
alright. It wasn't great.
If you ask me, it is so
good.
fascinating
It was
watching like
alright because it was
watching
stalls.
people figure out why these things fail. I don't understand. So I turned the writing into a propaganda shit piece promoting unpopular propaganda, forcing racists to accept the worldview that people don't really want to watch movies.
Give me back to the view.
For some reason, I can't figure this out. It must be the alt-writers.
To tell a story he didn't really want to tell, desperately trying to undo the damage done by TLJ, only to produce an absolute Frankenstein's monster of a film in Rise of Skywalker. Reviews were terrible, the fans were disgusted, and the film barely cleared $1 billion at the global box office. A far cry from the success of The Force Awakens. With the movie business
No,
in
that's still a
tatters,
lot of money to
Kennedy
make,
and
though.
Lucasfilm retreated to TV, where they scored a surprise hit with The Mandalorian, mostly because it had Jon Favreau at the helm. The success wasn't
Yeah, the success for one season, and then it became slop.
though, and failures like Boba Fett and
Yeah, it was nice to be in the first season. I still kind of like the rest of it, but
Lucasfilm by this point was
yeah, the
rapidly
first season
descending
was
into
probably
chaos.
well.
New Star Wars projects were
How many
announced,
seasons
huge
was it?
fanfare, only to go nowhere and quietly fizzle out without
They
explanation.
should have
By
just
now,
like
Kennedy was raiding the cupboards at Lucasfilm in search of anything she could use to prop the company up.
Yikes.
Willow,
And then Boba Fett, I only watched like a couple
brought back
episodes
in a
of Boba
baffling
Fett.
TV show about a pair of lesbians so disastrously awful.
I don't know
I
why.
heard about this. I never
Didn't
watched
get
this.
into
I
it.
heard it was legendarily bad. See, the thing
Which
is,
it's Boba
I'll give you an
Fett.
example.
I figured that I would, but
Okay? And this is
couldn't.
this is a really good example.
Acolyte.
I watched Revenge of the Sith.
I just kind of wanted to see what kind of crazy stuff they were coming up with. I was seeing clips on TikTok, and so
You know
I
what?
ended up watching
Good
that.
fucking movie.
Because of the clips.
Alright,
'Cause
okay.
I was like, no way they
Literally,
actually did that in the
I
show.
didn't
and then
even
they did it in
watch
the show.
The Rise of Skywalker. I didn't even watch it. I didn't even get there. Alright, episode 7 was so shit. I couldn't even keep going after that. Like, do you understand?
Dropping it from their servers and memory holding it. To this day, there's no legal way to view it online. Indiana Jones.
And there's
was
another
prosecuted
one
for
named
last
Animal or
adventure,
something like
mostly in
that.
the hopes of
Animal,
replacing him
I
with
don't
a
know.
younger female.
Every
watched
time,
it.
every time. There's a big, famous franchise, alright, huge, famous franchise, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean,
This
it's
is how it
being
works.
something like that.
You introduce a retard. They literally hope that people with nostalgia for the IP watch your shit, and that way you can promote your slot. And it's not working, man.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
It didn't work, and despite massively expensive reshoots to try to fix it, the movie flopped at the box office. The biggest humiliation for Kennedy was yet to come, though. The Acolyte, a show that will live in Star Wars infamy as long as Hollywood exists.
Yeah, I feel like the Acolyte actually, like, we talk about how all these other things killed Star Wars. I think the Acolyte made the death of Star Wars mainstream.
Pair of strong, diverse female leads, lesbian space witches, weak men getting humiliated. It was all there, and it was all terrible.
It was that.
In a
It was
way,
that.
it represents the final form of Kennedy's vision for Star Wars, and it was utterly eviscerated by everyone. The backlash was so bad that even Disney had to step in and promise not to make any more. Now, if you're spotting a theme here of Kennedy resurrecting old IPs and using them as a launchpad for diverse new girl boss
There it is. There it is.
you're not alone.
That is literally the market. Instead of actually creating something, they can, like, it's, you want to hear something hilarious? There's this famous quote, evil cannot create, it can only twist and manipulate. You know, evil can't create. And the reality is, she was trying to push this, honestly, and I'm sorry to be blunt, an evil ideology. An ideology that is being pushed to tell people that no, actually, you should not get married and build a family and have children. No, instead, you should live an endless life of infinite hedonism and be an egotistical fuck. All right? So, yeah, sorry, man. To quote Tolkien, right? That was a Tolkien quote, I think. Evil can't create, it can only destroy or warp or whatever. But this is literally what we're watching.
I mean,
It
from
obviously
South Park.
didn't work. Put a chicken in, make her gay. Yes!
Some of the
Yeah.
Franchises
Speaking
in
of
history on the modern audience, and wow, did she lose big. To paraphrase Chris Gore, she took boy brands that everyone could enjoy and turned them into girl brands that nobody enjoyed. Men felt excluded and disrespected, and women felt patronized and pandered to. The modern audience had failed to show up, and the existing audience was abandoning ship. Kennedy's greatest gamble had failed, and inevitably it all finally caught up with her. For years there had been rumours of her retirement, false starts and conspiracy theories, but one thing was obvious. Kennedy wasn't going anywhere until she was damn well good and ready.
And then I didn't like how a lot of their fights were them just walking around staring at each other. They had a forced battle and stuff like that, and it's like the old ones, they had like a lot of like combat and stuff like that. But
after all,
I don't
what
know.
was really left to celebrate at this point? She was gone, sure, but she left behind
Yeah,
her.
no, well, she left behind the corpse of Star Wars. It's like, getting rid of her is nice, at least, see in my opinion.
I said we erase everything that they did, make it non-canon, make that like a different universe, and we restart.
When my loved ones die, they remain
fucking
dead.
restart.
Alright? They're in heaven, okay, with my ancestors. Then if a lich decides to show up and revive them from the dead as a little fucking zombie wandering around to start trying to eat people, alright? I feel like that's the difference. We are keeping the dead dead, instead of constantly reanimating them for infinite bullshit and propaganda. And in my opinion, that's better.
Studio in absolute shambles, all of its IPs drained of their goodwill and cultural reputation. There was nothing left to save from her because she'd nuked all of it. And now that the dust is settled and all is said and done, how will posterity judge Kathleen Kennedy? Will she be remembered as one of the greatest producers in Hollywood history?
No.
Or the woman who oversaw the biggest act of brand destruction the industry
Yeah,
ever
most
seen?
likely that.
She'll certainly do her best to
Yeah,
rewrite
most
the
likely
narrative.
I'm telling you, man, she'll be remembered for that South Park special forever.
Her favor, that's for sure. Like the lengthy interview with Deadline, where she focused entirely on her successes and dismissed her failures and mistakes as someone else's fault. Mostly the small but vocal minority of toxic Star Wars fans who just couldn't see her brilliance.
Yeah, probably.
Really?
Yeah, sure, whatever helps you sleep at night, Kathy. You know, for someone who's all about breaking barriers and challenging female stereotypes, she's not exactly dispelling the myth that women are more averse to accountability, self-reflection, and owning their mistakes than movie Bob is to a
That's
trend.
a myth! Why would you talk about the ancient myth of women not being able to take accountability? There is no evidence to this whatsoever.
No. Times have changed now, and paid shills and
Unbelievable.
industry trades don't write the narrative
Times
of
are
Hollywood
changing.
legacies anymore.
Kinda
The
changing
internet
back to what
does.
they
And
were
unfortunately
before,
for Kathleen
but
Kennedy,
it's not
the
too
internet
bad.
never forgets.
That's right,
Some
baby.
situations,
That's
not
right.
too bad.
I'll be real. Accountability is not women's kryptonite. It's not women's kryptonite. I do carry a little vial of accountability on me in case any of these Karens get too close. I can just like whip it out. You go, and they get all scared. But like it's pretty cool.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Yeah, that was a good video. Karen Kennedy.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
She died with a whimper. Anyway.
Yeah,
thanks for
yeah,
watching.
no,
That was the lore.
I ain't
Lore-
surprised. I mean, I don't think anybody has any great thoughts of how the show was. I mean, other than the people that are brainwashed and have like mental problems, you know. But yeah, I don't think anybody has fond memories of when she took over Star Wars. I just think that they should just erase it, restart, and then start from scratch. Pretend like the other movies didn't exist, and then try to figure it out from there. I mean, I know we're gonna be ending up losing like a lot of the shows and movies, but I feel like it's for the best. Hey, if you're watching this, you made it to the end of the video, and thanks for watching. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe, share. It helps my content. And if you would like me to watch something that you would want to watch, go ahead and leave it in the comments, and I'll go ahead and check it out later or something like that. Thank you for watching, and please leave a like or a comment or something, some interaction. Thank you again.